record if you haven't already. Recording, look at that. It's a button that says record. Okay, you guys, welcome. So when Tanya asked me to lead this call, and I said, sure, what's the topic? Thinking that she already had something in mind. She's like, I don't know, what do you want to talk about? And I thought, gosh, you know what? We need to talk about setting ourselves up for the beginning of the year and setting ourselves up right. And the first thing that I thought of was having Vanessa join me to do this call, because she's been such an integral part of my growth in the business, because she's my success partner. So that was sort of, we sort of just started going from that, and we came up with Misty and Vanessa's top 5 tips for starting the new year off strong. So she and I are gonna tag team a little bit, and we're gonna start. And I'm gonna tell you a couple tips, and then she'll do some, and then we'll open up for questions. So I'm gonna give you a list of things. Number 1 is find a success partner. We both firmly think that this is a very important step. And you probably have heard it before from other coaches. You know, we've heard it on the National Wake Up Call as well. There's a few things that you should look for in a success partner. You know, your success partner should be somebody who lets you think out loud. You have ideas. You're not sure how it might work. This is somebody that you're going to talk through this with and be able to kind of bounce ideas off of each other. Somebody that you feel comfortable calling. It's not something that you have to do, but you look forward to calling and talking to this person. You guys should motivate each other. And you should also be able to share your ups and downs. You know, a lot of times as a team, we come together, we celebrate the successes, but we all know that we sort of have those downer days. And there's things that we need to talk about. And I'm not saying this should be your opportunity to sit there and gossip and spew and, you know, be negative all the time. That's not what I'm saying. But be able to have somebody that you really feel comfortable with talking about the ups and downs, and coming up with a plan that helps you solve them and what you can do to turn those times around. We also firmly, she and I both agreed that we feel that your success partner should be somebody who is sort of tracking where you are. Similar level, but also not your downline coach and not your upline coach. And the reason for that is simply because, you know, your upline coach is always going to have that kind of mentor mentality. They're not going to necessarily, they're always going to feel in that leadership position, and you're always going to look at them in that leadership position. And so I just don't think that is mutually beneficial. Same thing with your downline coach. What's really works really well is to find somebody that you jive with. If you don't know, if you're not sure, talk to your upline coach about somebody that might be a good fit for you, and make sure it does work. You know, and the other thing too is your success partner doesn't have to be somebody in your team. It can be somebody from Team 360. It can be somebody from Team Hard Rock Bodies. Or it can be somebody completely not even in the whole family that we're, you know, a part of. So it really can be connected from anybody that you just happen to kind of grab a connection with. So definitely start the year off right. Think about finding a success partner, get on board, get somebody that's going to help motivate you, keep pushing you forward. And again, if you don't know who that is, if you need help, like, hey, you're new, I don't know, I'm not sure, just ask your upline coach, and they can absolutely help you find somebody, and make sure it's the right fit too, because sometimes you connect with people and they're not the right fit, and it's not going to jive for both of you. And if you're not feeling it, it's not going to benefit them. So be honest with that. I actually had that situation with somebody, and somebody not on this team, and it just it didn't work. And so we both have other success partners that work much better. So find yourself a success partner. That's going to be a really big key for you heading into the new year. Number 2, schedule your time. I know that sounds sort of like, duh, schedule your time. But honestly, truly, and Vanessa and I both talked about this, that is the area that we're both focusing big time on going into the new year. And one area that we know that we can clean up to keep us being productive. It's super important that you are diligent with your time, and, you know, be diligent, be specific with what you're going to do. Make sure you have some system. If you're a pen and paper person, be a pen and paper person. If you're a computer, be a computer. If you're both, like I am, do both. Whatever works to keep you on track and scheduling your time. So that means that they're treating your business like a business, right? So when you schedule your work hours, you go to your office. I'm guilty of my office is at home, right? And I'll come and I'll work, but then I get distracted by laundry, and I get distracted when the kids are home from school with the kids, and I get distracted with, I don't know, name whatever you want. It's so easy to get distracted. Think about people that go to work to a different job full-time or part-time, but whatever their work is, they go to a different job. They don't have all of these outside things going on that's interfering with their work. And I know some of you work, and I know some of you are working Beachbody, during some of your off time or during your work time. But it's important that you schedule, when you're scheduling your time, that you're not distracted, because it's so easy to do. So make sure you're scheduling it at a time that you can go to your office and do your business. One thing that's important is, because if you do constantly have distractions that are taking away from your time, that is going to interfere with your personal life. And that's not what we're trying to do here, right? Beachbody is supposed to better that and bring fulfillment and help us have a more successful, more balanced life. Well, if we're not being smart with our business time, and we're constantly sitting on the couch, checking Facebook and returning messages because it didn't get done during the power hour or whatever time you've allotted, and we're sitting there having family time with the kids, and the kids are like, Mom, are you going to be done? I'm guilty of it. No, I think we all are. So that really comes down to just being specific and diligent with your time, and making sure that this is when I'm working, I'm doing my work, I'm getting what I can done, and then I'm dedicating the rest of this time to my family. So really schedule yourself. Start now. Start making a plan. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be set in stone, but get a plan going of how you're going to schedule your time, and just start doing it, and then tweak it as you go, so you have a schedule to go in. So I've babbled. Now it's Vanessa's turn.
I'm really good at babbling too. So to tag on to that, I think our fourth point that we think is great to pay attention to this new year is to set yourself some goals, and that's something that you start now. I'm a big believer in goal setting, and I think we're pretty fortunate. Beachbody hands us goals that are really attainable and good markers of our success with Success Club. And you can, set yourself a Success Club 5. You can set yourself a Success Club 10. Those are two really simple goals that they give us. But think bigger than that and set bigger goals. But as you set your goals, one thing I like to keep in mind is that I think we're all better coaches when we're well-rounded, balanced people. And so if you can figure out what your core values are in life, for instance, I'll give you an example. My core, our mission of our household is that we have a healthy, happy, well-balanced family. So when I'm spending 25 hours a week doing Beachbody, it throws everything off kilter for that, and it doesn't work for us. So my goal is to keep my work hours between 10 and 15 hours a week. And I know that that's how I can handle. So that's a goal, is for me to be consistent with that. So set really simple goals like that, maybe managing your time, or your huge year-end goal, something like that, that's perhaps something that scares you and makes your heart race a little bit. So sorry, as I'm telling you that it's our key to have the family well-balanced, I hear a bunch of stuff going on in the background. It's very distracting. That's the bad part about having an office with an open door. Anyways, so keep in mind, like I said, I gave you the example of what our overall family thing is. You've got to remember that each goal is specific to you. So if you just hear someone else spouting off, I've heard many times on lots of national wake-up calls, people will say goals out loud, and or goals they gave themselves. And if you just copy the goals of the leaders, those goals won't necessarily work for you, because your life is not the life that they live. So that's my little bit on goals. And And then our fifth, is it fifth? Yeah, fourth. I counted wrong, didn't I? Okay, so third and now fourth. Our fourth point was to put time into your personal development. And I'm not just talking about the 20 minutes a day that Beachbody includes in our vital behaviors. I'm saying actually sit down and plan your personal development so that it coincides with your goals. If you want to be a 5-star elite coach, you better believe you need to have some personal development in there that pertains to leadership, because you're going to be leading 5 diamond coaches. If your goal is to be financially free and you're not there, you need to be reading about financial freedom, or even reading just about how to manage your finances so that you can continuously pay down debt. So as we know, our goals aren't always all about Beachbody. They can be about Beachbody and our lives in general, and that's what Beachbody wants from all of us, to have a well-rounded life. So again, things like relationship building. If you're trying to build your business up to diamond, relationship building is a great one to work on, because the only way you get there and maintain is through great relationships with your customers. So look at your goals after you've taken the time to actually set your goals. Then look at your personal development. Line up a few books so that you have them ready to go. And that doesn't mean that you have to stick exactly to the plan of your personal development that you've planned out, because you might have a month where you need like a boost of self-confidence and you need to read You Are a Badass to bring it back. Or you might think you're going really, really strong and your leadership's great, and then you have a diamond fall off, and you've got to pick up those leadership books and reapproach or reevaluate where you're at. So make sure that your personal development coincides with the goals that you're setting. I think I talk a lot faster than you, Misty. Oops.
Well, and I just wanted to talk a little bit more about that, because when Vanessa and I were planning this call, and we started talking about the personal development, and we kind of, it was personal growth. I mean, it's really this personal growth area. And I love the idea of setting a plan of personal development to go with your goals. Honestly, I never did that. That never was presented to me that way. And I think that's such an awesome way to do it, because we've talked about this in our team before. Not every personal development book is going to appeal to you. And that's because nobody is the same. Nobody's running their business the same. No personality is the same. And I love the fact of just making a game plan for personal development. I don't think, maybe there's a lot of coaches out there that do it already. We've not ever really talked about that as making a game plan, making a blueprint for what you're going to read. And I think it's so important, so that you at least sort of have a plan of, okay, these are my goals, and this is how I'm going to baby step towards these goals. And at each step, here's a book that's going to help me get to that next level, or audio, or whatever it is that you're listening to. And I think that that's really key, because you need to sort of have this plan of what you're going to follow, so that it's helping to propel you. And like Vanessa said, there's going to be times where you need different things. Things happen, but you've got this sort of action plan of how you're going to grow as your business grows and as you progress towards those goals. And I just think that's really smart planning. So that's definitely, I know she and I are both doing that. We're goal planning now, and setting time to also, include personal growth in that. So I hope you guys, take that to heart and really put personal development and personal growth into. And remember, this is something that, I may have forgotten to tell some of you that are new. Personal growth and personal development doesn't necessarily have to be business related to be personal development. Personal development is something that you need to better yourself. Beachbody doesn't tell us to listen to business seminar after business seminar. It's not just about that. It's about making us better people. So if you're feeling really stressed and you're feeling overwhelmed with being a parent, and you just need some parenting tips or something like that, that's still personal development, right? That's still going to help you with your business and with your everyday life. So I just think that sometimes we feel that this personal development is dry. It's all about business. It's all about sales techniques. And really it's not. So just remember that you want to find those things that really speak to you, that really help you grow as a person, and also towards those goals that you're aiming for. Do you want me to go into number 5? Yeah. Okay. I can't hear her, but I got a thumbs up. Okay. So number 5, what is consistency? And I know it sounds like a broken record because we hear it all the time. But honestly, in every single thing that we do, we have to be consistent. There is just no way around it. And a surefire way to not making your goals is to be inconsistent. So, and the thing about it with consistency, it's in everything we do. It's in our having a power hour daily. It's in our 3 vital behaviors. It's in our social media. We have to show up to those things every single day. Even in those days, it feels really hard. You don't want to do it. And you know what? When I don't do it, my business suffers. It does. It happens to everybody. The people who are rocking it consistently every month have their pipeline full of people ready to, jump on board and join their challenge groups. It's because they're out there being consistent every single day, because you're going to have months, you're going to have weeks, you're going to have days where there's nothing going on. If you're not inviting, if you're not being consistent, if you're not being on your social media and making a presence. So consistency is so important. Consistency with, connecting with your upline coach, connecting with your downline coaches, connecting with your success partner. So, I think it's sort of like we hear so much stuff. Whenever we learn new things, right, we hear from other coaches and, our top leaders, do this, do this, do this. It's the latest, it's the greatest. And really it's kind of thrown at us to help us better our business. Sometimes I think that we have so much information, so much overload that you just are getting the handle on one thing. And then it's like, oh, something new is beginning thrown at you. So you sort of have to put on a filter, and you have to sort of filter out what's working for you, what's relevant to where you are, and stay consistent with that instead of stopping and starting and trying something new. If something is working, if you've got a system that's working, stay consistent with it, because it's going to pay off dividends, versus if you're like, oh, well, okay, somebody else is telling me to do it this way, so I'm going to stop what I'm doing and I'm going to go do that, and I'm going to go chase that one, and then I'm going to go do that one. Does that make sense what I'm saying? So just, nobody's like saying anything because you're all muted, so you can't. So just be consistent with that. Stay the course, stay true to your business, kind of leave some of those filters out. Vanessa, I know you might have some things to kind of add to that too.
I do. And consistency over time. I think we've all heard that too. Anyone who's read The Compound Effect realizes that consistency doesn't mean just be consistent this week or this month. I would say at the beginning of this year, make a commitment to yourself to be here at the end of this year and see where the consistency has actually taken you. And I think that we'll be surprised. Everyone should be surprised that you can surpass your goals when you are consistent for a long period of time. So,
yeah, absolutely. And it doesn't matter on this call where you guys are in your business. We all get to start the new year fresh. The new year is such an exciting time to be a Beachbody coach. You guys are already feeling it. There's already so much excitement and momentum. And even those of us who have been kind of slow this month, the momentum's building. And it's a great time to be a coach, and it's a great time to really set yourself up and decide that, you're going to start off with a bang, or there are some things that you learned from, the last few months or the last year in being in business that you're going to do differently, and you're not going to do it, the same way. So just make a fresh start. Don't make resolutions. I don't really like resolutions. Make goals. Set yourself goals and make your goals. Start now. Start determining what you want personally and with your business. And just stay the course, because it's a really exciting time to be a coach. So we hope those tips have kind of helped you guys. If anybody has questions, we're happy to answer questions or have sort of an open forum discussion. Anybody want to chime in, say hey? I don't know if Vanessa has muted you. Have you muted everyone?
I have. And if, I'm going to unmute everyone, but if you don't have a question, go ahead and remute your line, because otherwise we get lots of feedback.
And even if you don't have a question and you just want to chime in and share something, share some of your own tips, something like that, feel free.
I have one. So, with all these changes and us doing the pages and stuff like that, I guess it would be nice to get everybody's feedback on what advice you've heard out there as far as the balance between both your pages. I struggle with switching and doing personal posts on my like page. So I don't know if I'm, I don't know. I just kind of, I guess, was just thinking what your thoughts were on how you're going to aim your guys' like pages. Like, are you going to put more of your personal stuff on it, and kind of turn that into the only page you run, or I don't know. What do you think?
Well, so I've actually seen already, since I've been focusing a little bit more on my like page, an increase in traffic to it. And I'll be honest with you, I am super excited for this change with Facebook, honestly, because I feel personally that I've struggled with knowing how to promote this business on a personal page, right? So I honestly really like the fact that we're actually get to do business on a business page. I think that that's a really, really positive thing because we can do ads. Ads, you guys, are so cheap and you can get a lot of traction. I just talked to somebody today who's going to do 21-day fix. She is a total stranger to me, but she clicked on my application because she saw it. So I think we have the opportunity to appeal to more people, to really do our business, and to be able to promote what we're doing. That doesn't mean that there's no personality or no personal feel to that, right? So you're still going to be able to bring your personality in. You're still going to, some people really, with their like pages, still bring in their families and show kids working out and things like that. So I think you have to try to, you're going to have to play with it and to see what works for you. The angle you want to go. I'm at this moment in time, I'm focusing my energy in posting a lot more on my like page with things about healthy tips, working out, putting some funny things into there, showing my personality in there. But then keeping the conversations going on my personal page and keeping less fitness, still some fitness, but less fitness on my personal page and gearing it more towards the business page. And I think it's a really good opportunity, honestly, because we're in business. And so we still get to have those personal connections with people on our personal pages, but we get the opportunity to actually function as a business on our like pages.
Okay. I have something to say. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I've been struggling with this too, Kelly, so just, you're not alone, especially because I just made my like page. So it's new to me. It was something that, that people said in the beginning, oh, you could do it if you want, you don't have to, if you don't feel ready. And I really struggle with how to make the content different. And also, if I have friends on my like page, I don't want them to be inundated with the same post that I'm putting on the other page and feel like they're just getting a double dose of me in their newsfeed and then get sick of me. So I feel like this is a good way to get what I try to focus on, and I don't know if this is right by any means, but since it's just kind of a talk it out thing, I thought I'd tell you what I'm kind of trying to wrap my head around. And I'm going to try and focus my posts on my business page, at least for now, when I'm starting it out and trying to get consistent with it, on the things that I want my team to embody or my business to embody. So some of them are just total wellness things because I'm kind of like to have a focus on emotional health. And then some are on cooking because I love cooking and recipes and finding out new things about new food. And then some about the workouts. So those are kind of like the three areas of that. And then I'm just trying to really restrict to one a day or even maybe less than one a day now on my personal page. It's fitness related. I want to remind people that I'm still doing that, but I don't want to, like I said, make them feel like that's all they're getting. And like Missy said, it's a good opportunity to make it more business-like. And I feel like the people that are my friends on my regular page that want to be interested in the fitness side of me can see it there. And if they don't have to go to that page. They can still be my friend on Facebook. You have less risk of someone unfollowing you because they're sick of you talking about your nutrition or your exercise. I think that happens to some people. I don't know if it's happened to me. I've never tracked how many friends I've lost or anything. But I've built up my personal following over 1,000 friends. And now it's like starting over from scratch. So just to everyone on the call also, don't feel intimidated by the idea of starting this page, because I was very intimidated by it. It scared the crap out of me, actually. I didn't know where to start. I didn't feel like I could find the right diversity in my posts. I didn't want to invite people to like my page when it had no content yet, but I didn't want to run a silent page for a month just to get some posts on it. So what pushed me was, and this was actually before this big thing about the like page came out, was talking to my success partner, a new one that I'm working with, and I asked her, she was asking me goals, and I said, I really need to do this like page thing. I really need to. And so at the end of our call, we said, by next week, let's have that like page put up. And so I did it because I knew I had to hold myself accountable to her. And so it kind of goes back to one of your other points about a success partner. But it's a new relationship. We'll see how it goes. I hope she's happy. I'm happy. But in the meantime, like obviously the first week that already helped, because I was driven to get that off my list, even though I was like, I don't know if this is right or what to do. I'm just going to do it. When it was done, I felt like a huge weight was lifted off my shoulders because it just existed. And then I can fine tune it from there. So my best tip would be, don't let fear stop you from even trying to start these things in the first place, or feel like I felt like I'm not a big successful person who's a public figure, so how can I have a like page, right? That's kind of where my head got hung up. But I figured we all have to start somewhere. So if you build it, they will come, right? Feel the dream.
Well, and I think those are really good points. And, and going to consistency too. So I had a like page I had started it last year, and I wasn't getting any traction with it. So then I just let it go away, right? And because I wasn't consistent. So now going back to it, having to like revamp it and get it going again. And I didn't want to stop and start. So I just went with that one. So that's kind of going back to consistency. But I do think, I think sometimes we get in our own head and we're like, oh, but we're not this, 15 star with this big following. Who's going to want to follow me? But you're right. It gives people a place to go. And those who are truly interested, because let's face it, not everybody on a personal page really cares about our health and fitness journey. As much as we would love to think that, not everybody is into it. So it gives them a place to go. You still touch base and let them know that you're still doing this active thing, and whether you're tagging yourself once in a while or you're making a post. I think it's just kind of a trial and error and seeing what works and paying attention to the posts that get attention. Making note. Don't just throw something up without really paying attention to if other people are responding to it. Take some time to analyze it and see what's working for you. Two people that I just want to tell you guys that I think Shelly especially might help. I think Stephanie Davies, and she happens to be local here. I think now she's an 8-star diamond here in Portland, but she does an amazing job of balancing her personal page, Stephanie Davies, with her like page, which is Stephanie Davies Health and Fitness. And I really, really like her. She's totally down to earth. She's not about just selfies and looking hot. She just has a lot of just heart to her posts, and she does share her journey. But what I really like what she does is she'll do a little bit of sprinkling of that into her personal page as well. And then she does her like page. And when Amanda, you were talking about like your business, I imagine you're like going to be posting, things about your team and as they grow and accolades and stuff like that. She does that. She does a lot of that on health and on her like page, but she infiltrates some of that into her personal page. So anyway, she's one that I really admire, just how down to earth she is, how she handles herself, and how she juggles both those pages. And another one who happens to be local is Missy Reber. You've heard Tanya refer to her before. And she does the same thing. She has a lot of, she does infuse her personal journey on her health and fitness journey on her personal page. But then she also has her like page, which is huge. And that's Rocket Mom Fitness. And then her personal page is Missy Reber, Reber. Those are two people that I think do a really good job of balancing. They have their people on their personal page that are following them, and then they have a really good following on their like page. So those might be two to kind of follow to give you some help as far as how they do that balance, and you can kind of see the ratio, if you will, of how they manage their posts between the two pages. But I do think, I agree, I think it's a lot of trial and error and seeing what works for your audience. And as you build and as you grow, we have a lot more opportunity, I think, with the like pages to really grow and cater to other people beyond our personal page, which I think is really exciting too.
Something I plan
And
on.
I'm not sure. Oh, sorry.
Okay. Something that I plan on doing is kind of maintaining my personal page. But if you look at my personal page, I'm not a big Beachbody poster. I talk about Beachbody in the background in a lot of conversations with people, but you won't see a lot on my personal page. And I plan on maintaining that actually, because I will invite people I meet in person to come to my personal page first. And then after I get to know them, invite them to my like page. Where I think, so that's grabbing one market one way, and then there's the like page market of grabbing them without them knowing you. So that the balance again is gonna be tricky, but it's still there. Like, don't let your personal page go, I think is what I'm thinking.
I think that, just like Shelly was saying, I'm not sure how much or how to incorporate personal life onto your like page, but I do think I'm going to have to figure out a way to do it in some way. My personal page usually is like inundated with a lot of stuff about my kids because that is my number one thing. So I don't want my like page to be like that. Like I said, I don't want everyone to feel like they're just getting the same thing twice from once in each year. But I do also think it is important to make sure your like page still has your personality and maybe a little bit of that family or your kids or whatever, just a little. But I think it's important to have it somewhat because people do sign up to work with you specifically, and they should know you. They should know that you're a mom. They should know that you have kids if you are, or whatever, whatever your deal is. And, maybe you're some hot single guy who goes out in the town and all the women drop at your feet, and they should know that that's your deal. But, for me, it's like, I'm a very busy mom, and that's one of the big things. So I'm going to have to find a way to balance that in there. And I just had to let go of the fear of embarrassment, like that people are going to be like, what is she doing? She doesn't even know what she's doing. Like, this post was stupid. Well, you don't know until you do it. So go big or go home, I guess.
Well, and
that's all I have.
Here's something that might help, and you guys might have heard this from Shalene Johnson before, and that is she was doing a training on how to do videos. And she said, talk in your video like you're talking to your best friend. And I think that should be true I think that can carry over to our like pages. Yeah, and I'm not saying you don't have good content, but how you present it and how you talk about it, think about your audience as being somebody who knows you. And let that personality speak out. Don't come across as this stiff salesperson. Just the same things still apply in our personal pages. They still apply on the business page, right? We don't want to just be out there spewing Beachbody all the time and buy this. Like page is not necessarily, you're not going to gain followers because all you're doing is spewing links and do this Beachbody program. It's the same rules apply to your like page. So you want to show your personality. And like Amanda said, finding that balance. And yeah, I put lots of pictures of my kids on my personal page. I'm not comfortable doing that with my like page. I'm not going to put pictures of my kids all over because they're my kids. And when I know you a little bit better, then I might let you into more of what we have going on. But just for their own protection, I'm not going to put their picture everywhere. But still letting people know who I am. I'm not just going to be all business all the time. And I think that's important on your like page. So it's going to be trial and error. This is all, this like page is new for a lot of us. So I do think it's pretty exciting. If I look back to see the coaches who were starting this last year or the beginning of this year, making time to build their like pages and seeing where they are now, it absolutely 100% pays off. I think of people, I can rattle off some coaches who are now 5-star, 7-star that were doing the like pages. I wish I would have started. Like I see the opportunity in really getting outside of your personal page and really getting an opportunity to meet more people. So it's a good thing. I think it's a really exciting thing, but we're going to learn. There's going to be a lot more training, but I think there is going to be a lot of us kind of figuring it out on our own too and figuring out what works in our market. So hopefully that's helpful. Any other questions or things you guys want to talk about for setting yourself up for the new year? Going once. Any final thoughts, Vanessa?
I think that sums it up. Let everyone get back to their night.
All right, you guys, thanks so much. We'll post this recording. Hopefully you guys found those tips helpful and having some discussion time. So again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask us, and we'll get this as soon as Vanessa and I can figure out how to post the recording. We'll post the recording for you guys in Team 360 so you can review it. So thanks for being on the call, you guys. Have a good night.
Awesome. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Night.